we're back with Entrepreneur Pit Stop, and we are talking with YESS, a young entrepreneur summer school out of Estonia. And our special guest today is Levente, and he's one of the project leads for this program. And it's a week-long entrepreneur training for startups for young people between, I believe it's 16 years old, around there, to 20 years old. You can
Yeah,
correct me
that's
if I'm
right.
wrong.
Yeah. 22, but
And it's a 1 week event hosted by the Estonian Business School. And welcome, Levente. How are you?
yeah, hi Dean. Thanks for the opportunity and thanks for having us. Yeah, doing great. It's getting close to the event itself, of work into going into it. So I guess we are now in the climax of the action, and we're all very excited about it.
Right, you got a lot going on. If I'm not mistaken, you start on August 10th this year, right? So
Indeed,
you
yeah,
got like two
yeah.
weeks. All right, so
Yeah.
you're coming down to the wire, and actually, I'm looking forward to coming. I'm going to be your pitch trainer
Yes,
for the
indeed, yeah.
day, and that'll be fun. Get to meet you
Yeah, it's
guys and
amazing. Yeah.
see what Yes is about. So do me a favor. Have you ever been involved? Is this your first time involved with Yes, or have you been involved with Yes for a couple of years? Or
Yeah, basically, yeah. So I've organized YESS last year. So YESS is basically a collaboration between Estonian Business School and Startup Wise guys. And this year we are involving other partners as well. And I organized it for the first time with the team last year. And then part of the team is the same as the previous years. And then now we're just taking forward. And sadly this is my last year organizing it, but we are we're always like keeping half the teams the same, like half of the team the same, and then like this rolling basis to build like a good community around it.
okay, so is Yes the 1 week program? Is it only the 1 week, or is it like, does it start before that in during school sessions, or does it continue after that into the next semester, or is it only the 1 week program because it's obviously it says entrepreneur summer school? But is there any follow up? Is there any afterwards progress that happens for these young aspiring entrepreneurs as they start to develop a business idea?
Yeah, so basically it's been a long project already. I think it started like 6 years ago, and then previously there was an online part before the summer school, and then later on the ones that were really selected about from the online part got the chance to participate in the main on location in Estonia. This year, however, we decided not to keep an online part, just that's 1 week in Tallinn and EBS campus. And then obviously there is we are trying to build a community and alumni group behind it. We are very happy because now the team consists of 5 people, and 2 of them were participants last year. So obviously there is an urge from the participants to help us out next year, and that's something we aim for. Also, we have EBS has this venture studio called Too Early. It's basically like startups that only have an idea come together and try to build together. And then some participants of Young Entrepreneurs Summer School get the chance to continue there if they're interested. So yeah, we're trying to keep on following up and keeping the community together. Obviously, it's a community that's hard to keep together because everybody's so dynamic and so moving all around the place. But yeah, we're trying our best to create a real group behind this project.
Okay, very nice. Now, if I'm not mistaken, also too, the students that come, they're not just Estonian. They're actually
Yeah.
from around the region. So you have other countries involved as well, and they can participate in this.
Yes,
So,
indeed.
what are some of the other countries that you work with?
Yeah, so we usually aim for a 50-50, like 50% Estonians and the other half from abroad. Funnily enough, back in the day, there used to be not just the Tallinn-based summer school, but also one in Romania. So it
Okay.
was like an international vibe there. But during COVID, the Romanian part of it ended, and then maybe at one point we are bringing it back. But yeah, so obviously we have participants from around the Baltics, so Latvia, Lithuania, from Finland, and we are trying to obviously aim to build like a Baltic or this regional group.
Right.
And yeah, but we, for example, last year we've also had two participants from Ukraine, a couple of participants from Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania. So it's always a core of Estonians, a core of other Baltic countries, and then the other nationalities are a bit random. But yeah, we're trying to
Right.
aim to expand. Yeah.
Nice. So it's pretty diverse. So you get a nice mix of, people who think differently, have different ideas, and come from different backgrounds so that they can add to the variation of business ideas that start coming up. So that's really cool. So, um, do me a favor, walk me through simply the week. What happens during the week? What do they do? I show up, I'm on campus, I'm all excited. I want to talk to, other young people who think like me, and I've got maybe a business idea. I don't know if it's good or not good, or maybe I don't have any idea, but it just sounds interesting. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
if I don't have an idea, can I join a team? Do you guys form teams there? How does it work? Talk me through, you know, just the outline. It doesn't have to be detailed, but just talk me through the week. What happens over there at Young Entrepreneur Summer School?
Yeah, so essentially the week kind of breaks into two parts. The beginning part, let's say the weekdays, if we say that, are the learning days, and then we end up with a hackathon and demo day. But just in a bit of detail, we've broken up the weekdays, well, mostly from Monday to Thursday into themes. So the Monday we call it the problem, trying to find the problem. If you already have found the problem that your startup or your idea would fix, then is it even worth it to think about this problem? That's our first workshop actually labeled. Is it worth it? Then the Tuesday, the second day is about the customer, talking to strangers, getting the courage for sales, organic growth, whether sales is for everyone really, and then we go on to the solution, so the solving part. This is really where I think the generation we're looking for is already quite equipped, but we're trying to bring more out of them. Here they learn more about AI agents and the part of vibe coding, the design part. So not really how to do it, but how to do it well. And then on Thursday, the story. That's actually where you will come in with the pitching workshop. And then so before your part, there is also a workshop called Art of the Deal, which is like a negotiation workshop. And yes, so this really here the participants kind of learn individually. Like they, of course, the workshops are aimed to be interactive and forming groups, but here you kind of learn on your own pace individually. And then by the end of this 4 day period, so by the end of Thursday, we will try to push them to create teams, create groups, just understand who is the closest to them in thinking and who is someone that can help them with their ideas, because then we lead to a hackathon where obviously if participant has wants to do it alone, they can do it alone, it's fine. We would obviously prefer teams because working in teams is always better and there's always a better outcome, but it's really up to them. And then this hackathon, there's an intro session obviously on Thursday evening, and then Friday, Saturday, it's 2 full days of trying to build your product basically. Here we are aiming for an MVP already. In this age of AI, anybody can do an MVP within like 2 hours. So really, it's about the idea, and obviously the most ideal scenario would be if some of these participants would already get like some traction with customers, some validation there, and then on Saturday evening there is a final pitch where there will be a jury deciding who had the best idea. Obviously, we're going to have prizes. Last year, the winners got to Latitude; they had the free tickets and stuff like that. So it's really like a flow that has been working for a couple of editions now, and then yeah, there is one twist though this year, and that's sports. Uh,
Okay, right. Yeah, you have the Estonian Olympic Committee coming
yeah,
in.
indeed.
Very nice
Yeah.
representation.
Yeah. So what we've seen in previous years is you've mentioned before that maybe someone has ideas already, but really some of the participants just want to learn and they have
Right.
not really a chance to they don't have an idea already. So what they would do before is go to ChatGPT or whatever and ask to give me a startup idea. And it always in every hackathon gives the same ideas, right? So now we brought in a partner, the Olympic Committee of Estonia, which is very cool, and they helped us form some ideas around the hackathon. For example, solving the problem of bringing sports to the masses, how to make them enjoy, how to bring the type of technical advancements made in elite sport to the casual hobby sporting area. So these kinds of
Okay.
topics, yeah.
Nice. So you don't have to have an idea and you
No,
don't
not
have to
really.
have a team.
No.
So they could just come along. So that's really cool. So you have this program seems to be working so far. Um and so has anybody in the 2 years that you've worked with it, have you seen anybody actually build something that's been, you know, created and put out and is a viable product?
Yeah, so actually, last year we are very proud of it. We have two participants, Nadim and Anjana from last year. They are building a company called Swara AI. It's an basically an AI agent for hospitality companies like hotels
Okay.
and restaurants. Like
Right.
they've noticed that there's a lot of revenue lost in like unreceived calls, and then
Okay.
they've just built this project, and now they've been building it for the past year and taking part in other accelerators as well as testing it, and now they seem to be achieving some traction. But yeah, to be completely frank, it's mostly young entrepreneurs is the first introduction to entrepreneurship, right? So
Sure. Yeah,
yeah,
it's an idea that it exists, how to start to think like that, or just to hey, listen, just if somebody is curious, it's just what is this all about? So they come in, they get a taste for it. It's not really meant to do anything aside from pique interest, right? And then the next step is to get involved in an incubator or accelerator, or and then actually go through um, a several month program to design, develop, and build your startup. Yeah, this is just the incubation period of like fostering minds to start to think differently about business, or also just to expand their potential of their own creativity or their own ideas,
yeah,
just to see things differently, shift perspective.
yeah, definitely. And also, just to follow that one, it's we are very proud because this year EBS, so the Estonian Business School, has been ranked number one at creating startup efficiency among European universities. So this is really the kind of mentality and philosophy we want to bring into young entrepreneurs as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's why most of our, not most of it, but like part of our speakers are from the EBS community. And then we're filling, we filled in the gaps. For example, the pitching workshop that you're going to give,
Right.
or negotiation workshop that this lady Alexa is going to keep. So there's definitely something that we are trying to build around the mentality of EBS, of growing together, and being as innovative as we can be. And this really, this philosophy that it's not a problem if you fail, as long as you try more.
Right. I mean, failure is subjective, but the problem is not to take it personal.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
can't, and listen, even if it is personal in the sense that you did something wrong, as long as you learn what you did wrong and then apply the changes, and try again, you haven't failed. You only fail when you give up, when you stop trying, when you stop applying yourself because you're afraid to not succeed again, that's when you've failed, so that's really good, to give them a different perspective on things and to, it helps build confidence, helps build courage to, you know, take sort of the direction of your life in your own hands. And that now through, the startup world and entrepreneurship, you can do it in a different way. You don't have to just go get a job, or you can get a job and do this on the side. And, who knows what'll happen. And you might be, like Thomas Edison with electricity, right? How many times did he have to fail before he finally got the light bulb to light up? It's like, but he never thought of it as failing. He just realized that it took 1,000 times to learn what didn't work in order to finally learn what worked. And that perspective can be, applied to anything in life, relationships, working jobs, entrepreneurship, it doesn't matter. If you take that perspective, and as long as you learn from the experience, not necessarily mistake, it's an experience. It's something that happened, right, wrong. It just worked or didn't work. It doesn't mean it was, horrible. Failures are good, can be good things. And you have to have that mental shift in perspective to be able to relate to not only yourself, but your experiences differently. And if you guys can instill that into young people, I think that is essential, especially in the world nowadays with everything moving so fast that, it's so hard to keep up, and you feel like, oh, I didn't make it, I failed, or, like, I got, oh my, you're always, you're trying to run to keep up, and you feel like you're failing more times than you're not. And it's not necessarily failing. It's just that, you haven't caught your wave yet, you know, um, but, and, timing has a lot to play with it. So
Oh,
you
that's
guys sound like you're doing really good. And
we're
I
trying.
am honored to be able to come there. And so I'm getting excited, to do, the pitch program, with my company Pitcher Size. And, it's, I like the fact that you got the negotiations actually course there. I think that's great because so many people don't know how to, I mean, communications is key, whether it's sales, marketing, with inside your business as a leader, founder or whatever, and especially negotiations, because it's about creating win-wins, two sides coming together to satisfy two different needs, and they both have to win, and when you do negotiate, you learn how to negotiate, then you're looking for a good negotiation, and you're not only looking to win, you're looking to create a win-win for both sides, because you want them as a testimony, as a customer, as a repeat customer, as maybe the one come back later, whatever it is. So having negotiations is actually very important, and a lot of um startup organizations and hubs and things like that, they actually don't teach negotiations. They just talk about marketing and sales generically. And I think it's, in my experience in life, it's so much more than that. And so it's nice that you've guys have recognized to bring in negotiations as one of your selective courses to teach
Yeah,
them.
yeah, definitely. It's we have it last year for the first
Good,
time. It was everybody loved it. So we just
excellent,
yeah.
nice. So hey, is there anything you want to tell young entrepreneurs or young potential entrepreneurs that might not know what to do, where to go, who to?
Yeah, but basically, what we always say, I've been a part of many of these projects before, and what we always say, just keep your eyes open. Always go. Like, entrepreneurship is one of the very rare areas of life where you don't have to say no. Just try and go. If it's not your fit, then it's not your fit. You're
Right.
wasted a couple of days. That's it. And especially Estonia is a great place for this. It's basically wired into people's brain there. So I'm all I'm saying is that just try new things out, and we are welcoming everyone with open arms. We're happy to have everyone as well. Whether you have an idea or if you don't, yeah, just come and learn.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Levente. Really appreciate it. And that was Levente with Young Entrepreneurship Summer School from Estonia with the Estonian Business School. And they are hosting their summer school program August 10th for a week. So if you haven't been able to make it this year, check it out for next year. But sounds like a great program. And thank you for being our guest today. And I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. And that's it. Hey, thank you very much
Thanks
for
for having
joining
me.
us on Entrepreneur Pit Stop.